So the Splatoon Raiders release date trailer is finally here. Genuinely, since I started streaming on YouTube, I've been waiting for this moment, and that means I'm going to make the absolute most of it while I can. What better way to start with an analysis of the game's latest trailer? Let's get the breakdown started. The trailer opens with the familiar view of Deep Cut's ship. Fry calls out to what will be us, the mechanic, with Big Man also asking where we ran off to. This confirms that they hired us to come on this trip with them, since they already know who we are. This makes sense with the past trailer, the mechanic piloting the helicopter that takes them to the Spiralite Islands before crash landing. We then get a shot of the mechanic hammering something down beside the pilot helmet, only to eventually respond to Deep Cut's worries by lifting their head and giving the player the classic character creation prompting. Inkling or Octoling, feminine or masculine body type, but there's quite a few things interesting about it. Once the body type is selected, your disheveled hair seems to be trimmed up automatically by Fry, which is kind of a shame because I personally think it looked really good. All the hairstyles you see next to choose from are completely new, all adorning trash of some kind. Fishhooks, a net, bottles to make buns, cables, a rubber duck, and one with a little bit of everything. Looks like there's 6 hairstyles, each for Inklings and Octolings, and we have yet to see 2 Inkling hairstyles and 3 Octoling hairstyles worn, but we can estimate by the given icons. Styled eyebrows make a return, also different from what we've seen before, all with rougher looks to them. Then the eye colors, which I was right to assume is almost the exact same as the ones from Splatoon 3, just adjusted to be slightly more vibrant. No changing clothes here like pants, and no new types of customization people have theorized on in the past, such as eye mask shapes or ink stains. But for a spin-off, I personally didn't expect anything groundbreaking there. With confirmation that this is a single-player experience, we move on to the gameplay with a foggy shot of one of the areas we can explore. Ink is already on the sand of the island, the same color as the mechanics, despite it looking like they only just arrived there. After that, we see a familiar machine that really puzzled me when we saw it for the first time. Its purpose, for whatever reason, is revealed to be a vehicle that the members of Deep Cut can control individually to follow you and help you on your mission. You can call it to super jump to your location, jump onto it to get launched into the air, ask it to look for treasure, and it will fire at what we can finally confirm is Salmonids that will be attacking. New Salmonids, like the Salty Tongue, name revealed in an official Twitter post, as well as reskinned Salmonids we've seen in the past. The returning Salmonids shown being the Salmonlids, Stingers, Scrappers, Steelheads, and Fish Sticks, let me know if I missed any. But also, not once do we see the typical golden eggs you'd basket collect drop from any enemy. They instead look like a cluster of the much more common orange eggs. It's not yet shown what those will be used for, but it's possible it could be upgrading gadgets we see later. Quick shot of how the map looks to select where you'll be going, along with names of the islands. I have no idea if those islands have been mentioned before in lore, but it's worth looking into. 3 of the icons are treasure chests. Makes sense, with Deep Cut being treasure hunters and all, but there's another icon on a smaller island to the left that looks like a gemstone I don't think we've ever seen before. It is different from a spiralite crystal, which are shown in large blue clusters that Deep Cut can drill into to obtain trash geodes? They could be crafting materials. Each island section shows a level of difficulty for the Salmonids you'll face. And then we see a discovered Octobrush, which implies that the other main weapons are pieces of unlockable treasure we have to go looking for. Another view of the map shows 3 different treasure icons grouped in one spot, all equally vague. I get the feeling this spot is early on in the game to give you certain needed items for mechanic learning progression. Treasure chests open to give you various items with specified values, the one item they show paired with an attribute that somehow allows you to double jump. This segues nicely to a section of the dock that lets you upgrade yourself with weaponized gadgets. Despite it not looking like the spiralite cluster we drill gave us actual spiralite shards, we somehow managed to obtain them anyway, and Salmonids will drop items as well, shown by the Scrapper's glass windows. The mechanic in the video uses these to craft an axe, or splatchet, that swings after a charged attack, similar to Splatana's in the previous game. This can not only kill a Scrapper from the front in one hit, but a steelhead at its body without need to aim for weak points, which is practically unheard of in traditional Salmon Run. At first I thought there'd be a cost to this, things like the splatchet would be something you'd break with use and recraft, but a later menu shows you can upgrade it beyond crafting, so you have it for good. I hope this means things will get a lot more difficult, but Salmon Run has never been shy to give you a challenge. There are two more things we watch the mechanic use to their advantage. One is ink that unfurls from the player and spins at a fair distance, covering ground and hurting oncoming enemies, which could be a great one to give you quick relief and heal up in a tight spot, as long as stronger ones can't get past the ring it creates. Another is a splatter shot turret thrown and placed by the player. Back on the dock, we see Shiver catching something with a fishing rod and getting excited for a moment, but don't get the chance to see what she actually pulls up. This happened in the previous trailer as well. Big Man, still in the vehicle, gets clawed and tossed into the sky, which reminds me a lot of Wind Waker's Link being shot by a cannon into the fortress he needs to go next. Who knows, maybe this is punishment for another big betrayal. Fry seems pretty happy about it, surfing and cheering with her eels. Then we get to see the equipments menu. Of course, you get your main weapon, the one the mechanic currently has, looking like the splatling they use later. You can use 2 craftable gadgets at a time, controlled by the left and right bumpers. Relic Powers, which is most likely your special replacement? There are 5 total, 4 of them not yet unlocked, but the one we do see resembles the circling ink ability from earlier. Your ink tank, which has never been a menu option before, Bot Buddy, which means you can only have one member of Deep Cut assist you at any given time, and lastly, Style, so I guess you can change your clothes still, although I highly doubt the clothes will have abilities like the mainline games do for online modes. After a bit more showing off with the weapons, this game's equivalents of Roller and Splatling, you get to see the mechanic actually riding Big Man on his back. The prompting for this is unclear, but it's nice to see the idols helping outside of that cramped little tank they ride around in. The killer whale makes a return, Shiver standing beside you before she summons Master Mega to board and crush more Salmonids. The final shot goes by so fast I almost completely missed it the first time. It's a short cutscene of a Salmonid swooping down on the camera with yellow crystals stuck to its back. Despite similarities, it is different from the other new flying Salmonids we see earlier in the trailer. And that's it, that's the full thing, game releasing July 23rd in just about 3 months. Shiver, Fry, and Big Man still look amazing. I'm so glad they didn't alter the designs at all throughout the year we've been waiting, at least noticeably. These are easily some of the best idol outfits in my opinion. But now I wanted to quickly go over a lot of questions I still have about this game. First, what are the bosses going to be like? Is the enemy at the very end a boss fight? Its design almost doesn't seem scary enough to truly be one. We don't see any motherships or mudmouths that I know of, and there's been no sign of Mr. Grizz since his defeat in the 3rd game. And this feels a lot more like a personal Deep Cut-centered mission than an actual work-related mission for Grizzco. Personally, I don't think we'll hear of him outside a potential line or two from Deep Cut. We also see no King Salmonids, those being the Kohazuna, Ouroboros, and Megalodonia. I wasn't really expecting them to show up since reuse might feel pretty lazy unless they were given some kind of backstory, but I thought that was worth mentioning. Whatever route they go with, I really hope they're not afraid to make any of the boss fights we encounter truly unsettling like I know they've been able to do in the past. Part of my cope is that maybe Tartar will make a surprise return. I keep wondering why we haven't seen or heard about such a perfect villain in so long. I think Tartar's situation with the Octarian soldiers and Shiver always being a free Octoling could spark an interesting plotline, but I highly doubt any of that will actually happen. My next question is if this game will have any clear relations to past winning the Final Fest, though I wouldn't be surprised if that stays a theme only for the mainline games. Then there's Neo Agent 3's little buddy. It still baffles me that we have seen a form of friendly Salmonid, and I'm curious if they'll introduce anything more like that. But also, I really hope we somehow get to physically see the Salmonid band that plays all of the songs you would hear during shifts, or at least learn a little bit more about them. We met Deadfish in person, so why not have a boss fight with them on the scene? Have they heard the Calamari incantation? Will Callie, Marie, Pearl, or Marina be brought up or hinted at all? I'm going to assume largely no, that Deep Cut will be the focus and get the very needed development everyone's noticed they deserve. Honestly, the strangest thing about this to me is why they didn't bother to make anything for this game a Nintendo Direct announcement and instead punched us with this on a random Tuesday after so long in the dark, but I'm just happy to finally see something from Splatoon again. The game is $50 digitally, and they showed off amiibos too, which I'll absolutely be getting as someone who owns all of the previous ones. Seeing Splatoon get a spin-off after being a fan since the beginning is such a crazy experience. This series of games is easily my favorite from all of Nintendo, and it feels so amazing to see it up there with the longtime greats like Mario and Zelda. I can't wait to see where this game goes, so I'm going to be streaming it live here on YouTube the day of its release. I've got tons of other fun ideas planned otherwise too, so consider subscribing if you don't want to miss them. It'll help me dedicate more time to videos like this, and since this is my first ever normal video, motivate me a lot to improve. Let me know if you have any theories about this trailer. Let me know if there's anything you noticed that I didn't have time to mention. I'll be reading every comment until next time.